Hey guys, it's Ashley. Today I'm here with a book talk on a book that is not on BookTube, except for one video that I could find. And because of that, I am doing a book talk because this book needs to be made public because it's so ridiculous and amazing and everybody needs to know about it. That book is Amish Vampires in Space by Carrie Neitz. This is a real book. This actually exists. This isn't fake. This isn't satire. This isn't a joke. This is a real, honest-to-God book about Amish vampires in space. Let's talk about it. This book blew me away. It was so not what I was expecting in a really good way. I heard about this book, I think through Instagram. I was scrolling through like the Explore page and I saw it on there and I was like, what is that? I'm like, that can't be a real book. So I Googled it and it was a real book. I found it on Amazon, but I was on a book buying ban and so I posted on Facebook. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need this book. Look how ridiculous it is. I need to read it. And my mom saw it and behind my back she ordered it and gave it to me as a present on Easter, and I started reading it right away and loved it from the beginning. It hooked me. And then I had to put it down for a little while because I was starting to get creeped out because I don't usually read vampire type books, but I finally picked it back up and finished it really, really quick. The story behind this book is that a bunch of publishers and some authors were hanging out and talking about how the Amish fiction market has just kind of skyrocketed, and they were just kind of joking about, gee, what's going to be next? Amish vampires in space? And all laughed it off. They drew up like a quick little sketch of a cover, and I think it's actually in here. They drew up, I don't know if you can see that, this fake cover and kind of left it at that, and then they all went their separate ways and started joking, but Carrie Neitz just kind of kept thinking about it and wrote this book. I expected that once I got it, it would be like really thin, that it would be like more of a parody, just like a short joke. I did not expect to get this giant brick of a book. It's almost 400 pages long and it's worth it all. It's like a full developed story, full developed world. It was fantastic. It surprised me on so many levels. So Amish Vampires in Space is exactly what it sounds like. It's set in a world several hundred years in our future, many, many hundred years in our future, I hope, where our Earth has been destroyed and all of the Amish have been relocated to their own planet. One of the men, our main character, Jebediah, has a massive secret. The eldest man in his family have been entrusted with this secret for generations, going back to the time when this planet was first settled. And they've been watching the sky and watching the signs of the times. Jebediah starts to notice that things are changing, and all of these signs are pointing to the fact that their son is dying. Like up in the sky. Son, not like their child's son. And so he makes the drastic decision, which sets off this chain of events that results in the Amish people being rescued by a giant spacecraft. Of course, the Amish start freaking out because this goes against everything they believe in, to not only be using any sort of technology, but that one of their own started it, and now they all have to go on this spaceship and use this technology or they're going to die. And they're faced with kind of this big quandary. A lot of them are kind of questioning what's going on and questioning their faith, but they do go on, and Jebediah is considered an outcast from that point on. Even though now they're all going to be rescued, they still turn on Jebediah. Once they're on board the ship, sinister things start happening. An infection starts to spread among not just the Amish, but among everybody on the ship. Strange things are going on. Animals go missing, people go missing, and there's strange hunger among these people that were infected. I don't really read any vampire fiction besides Twilight. That's the only vampire fiction I can think that I've read. Oh, nope, it is. Oh, I mean, vampires were mentioned in City of Bones, but that's it. I don't really read vampire fiction or this kind of fiction, usually, but I needed to read this for obvious reasons. So I can't tell you where it falls in vampire lore. I know it's more realistic than Twilight. It was just really well done. I loved the concept of it. I loved that the world was so well developed. I know I saw some complaints online about the Amish factor being disrespectful, and I didn't read it that way. I've read some Amish fiction in the past. I mean, it's not like on the level of Beverly Lewis when it comes to Amish fiction because she's like the queen, but I didn't find it disrespectful. I think the character of Samuel himself was just kind of disrespectful. He was just stuck very much in his ways and refused to acknowledge any sort of difference, even when it was happening right in front of his face. I loved that there was some relationships going on. Singer is one of my favorite characters, although I felt like she could have been a little bit more developed. I just felt like a lot of the answers she gave about her faith and things were very much scripted textbook answers. They just felt very forced, in my opinion. But I still liked her. I loved the way she interacted with Seal. I liked the two of them together. I'm so excited. This has a second book. There's a sequel to it. And I can't wait to get it and find out what happens with everybody. Because I need to know. I need to know. But I loved the characters. I loved the world. I thought it was very well done. This book was just really good. It had a lot of intrigue. It had a lot of mystery surrounding it. You didn't even get to the vampires until like page 150 or something ridiculous like that. Because it was setting up the world. It was setting up all of these different threads that were going to come together in the end. I just loved it. I loved the cast of characters. A lot of the minor characters too. The doctor, Darlie, I think her name was. She was really cool. Like I said, I love Singer. Even Jebediah's wife turned out to be really awesome in the end. I wasn't a fan of her in the beginning, but she really grew on me and was pretty awesome. It was just so much better than I expected it to be. It wasn't at all like a campy satire novel. This is a full novel in its own right and deserves to be taken seriously. This was just really fun to read and really ridiculous. And I gotta tell you, anytime you're reading this in public and people ask you what you're reading, the responses are awesome. During VBS prep, and I was reading it before everybody showed up, and one of my helpers came over and she was like, "What are you reading?" "Oh, what? Where do you even find these things?" Internet. I go on the internet and I talk to people and I find things like this. It is a Christian novel, so there are Christian themes. Speaking on that, I wish that had been handled a little bit better. I felt like Singer was just kind of forcing the issue on Seal, and then it just wrapped up super quick. That was my other complaint, is that, you know, Seal was having these issues with Singer's faith. Jebediah was struggling with his faith, and then vampires go away and everything's okay. So that just wrapped up a little too quick. I wanted just a little bit more into that. A little bit more insight with that would have been really nice. And I'm hoping that maybe we get that in the second book, because I know that it is a continuation of the story, not just something separate. So I recommend this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars because of those issues, but overall I really enjoyed this book. This was just so much fun in a slightly scary way. You might not find it scary. I don't read books like this, so I found it a little creepy, had to put it down for a while, stop reading it at night, that sort of thing. But I just really enjoyed it. I hope you pick it up. So I want to know, have you read this book yet? Are you going to? Because it's kind of awesome and you should. So if you've read it, please leave me a note down below. If you haven't read it, I'd still love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? Are you going to pick it up? Do you think it's interesting? I just really enjoyed this book. It's so ridiculous, and I'm really happy that I read it. That is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you later. Bye.